A crazy 24 hours at Tottenham Hotspur has seen Mauricio Pochettino be sacked and replaced by Jose Mourinho. Not many people saw this coming. The question is, should Pochettino have been sacked? Where is he going to go next? Is Mourinho the right man for the job? Is he an upgrade or a downgrade? How will he get on at Spurs? We're going to answer all these questions and more in this episode of IMO. Alright mate, how you doing? Welcome back to another episode of IMO. I'm sure like me, you're pretty shocked to see what's been happening at Tottenham in the last 24 hours. Pochettino gone. I was pretty surprised. They haven't had a great start to the season, sitting in 14th in the league right now. Spurs, they expect better than that. And they had a pretty poor end to last season as well that people are forgetting about because they got to the Champions League final. So you can see there was a reason for them wanting to make a change. Added to that, the controversy that's been coming out of Spurs that we're not sure if it's true or not, but the alleged nonsense going on between Christian Eriksen's wife and Vertonghen perhaps, even just the rumour existing, even if it's based on nothing, is not a good look for the changing room. So there's no doubt that Tottenham weren't in a good place, but Pochettino had given so much to Spurs. There's no doubt about it. Before he got sacked, he was the third longest serving manager in the Premier League. Only Eddie Howe and Sean Dyche had been with their clubs, Bournemouth and Burnley, longer than Pochettino. He spent 5.5 years at Spurs, and in that time he'd seen them go from a club that, if they were lucky, would just squeeze into the top four every couple of years, to a club that consistently gets top four. There's no doubt he took them a level up on the footballing ladder. He definitely improved them, but he struggled when it came to winning trophies. This is a thing that's become synonymous with Spurs now during Pochettino's reign, is this bottle job factor. And is that down to Pochettino? Is it down to his squad? I think it's harsh to remember Pochettino's time at Tottenham in that way. Like, that's not his legacy. His legacy has definitely taken them up a level for sure. They improved massively under his reign. But there's definitely a shout that Pochettino might have lost the dressing room at Spurs. And once you lose the dressing room, it's very hard to come back from. Doesn't matter how good a manager you are. Once it's gone, it's gone. In fact, the man that's come in for him, Jose Mourinho, has lost many a dressing room in the past, but we'll get onto him later. Did Pochettino take Spurs as far as he could? Maybe. He leaves them 14th in the league, which isn't good. They've got 14 points from 12 games. Yeah, if you extrapolate that throughout the season, after 36 games, so 2 games remaining in the league, they'd only be on 42 points, which is just securing them safety from relegation. It's not a good start, is it? He has got them second in the group, behind only Bayern Munich in the Champions League, although they did get hammered by Bayern Munich in the Champions League. That was not a good look either. So in many ways, I don't fault Spurs' ambition and the chairman Daniel Levy's ambition in trying to say, you know what, we deserve better than this. It seems harsh because they did so well last year with no budget. You know, he got them to the Champions League final with no money spent. That was unbelievable. But why wasn't he able to spend money? Was there cracks already appearing in the Pochettino-Spurs relationship that we failed to see earlier on? Why was he not being backed by the board? Because there's no way Mourinho has come in to Spurs without certain promises that he can spend money. We know Mourinho is a very successful manager, but one thing he needs is money to spend. So for some reason, Daniel Levy did not want to back Pochettino in the market, but he is prepared to back Mourinho. Ultimately, I feel a little bit for Pochettino because he definitely had opportunities to leave Spurs earlier and go to a better job. He probably could have got the Real Madrid job before Zinedine Zidane came back. I'm sure he could have got the Man United job. Still could get the Man United job if Solskjaer goes. Many people linking him with the Arsenal job because Emery's obviously potentially on the way out. Would he make that controversial Sol Campbell switch from Spurs to Arsenal? I don't know if he would. You know, he's been linked with Barcelona before and he said he'd never take that job because he used to play for Espanyol, who are another Barcelona-based team. There's obviously a rivalry there. So based on that logic, you think he would never go to Arsenal. But also, you could argue it's a step down to go to Arsenal. They're not as good as Spurs are. They're not competing for top four in the same way Spurs have been recently. He can probably get a better job. Could he go to Bayern Munich? They have not got a manager. They sacked Kovac recently. That could be a good fit for Pochettino. Some people even saying he could wait a little bit of time and take the City job because Pep maybe getting itchy feet. Maybe he wants to leave City. We don't know. Whatever happens to Pochettino, I hope he gets a good job next and a big club and he gets back to the transfer market because I think he's a really good manager. I think the players, before maybe he lost the dressing room, really loved playing for him. He had great relationships. You see some of the posts coming out from like Dele Alli and Harry Kane on social media. They're going to miss him big time. You don't always see that when managers leave clubs. So I wish him the best going forward. But now we need to turn our attention to Jose Mourinho, who's come straight in. The small period of time that passed between Pochettino's sacking and Mourinho coming in proves this was already planned. This wasn't a, we've sacked him, we got to get on the phone, Mourinho, do you want the job? They knew he was coming in. They'd already done the deal pretty much. Why have they gone with Mourinho? There's no doubt Mourinho is a proven winner. He's won 20 plus trophies in his career across many different clubs. He's won titles in 4 different countries, Champions League with 2 different teams from 2 different countries, Inter Milan and Porto. Most recently, he won the Europa League with Manchester United, the League Cup as well. He finished second with a squad which in hindsight was a pretty good achievement. What can he do for Spurs? Can he end their search for a trophy? I think he probably can. If we're to take the rest of his career as an example, there's two things we know. He's not going to stay more than 3 years, but he will win them something. So essentially Spurs, based on that logic, are putting short-term success over long-term stability, which is what they had with Pochettino. Although that stability started to look a little bit shaky this year. I think if you're a Spurs fan, it comes down to what you want. Do you just want a trophy? Do you want to end this, even if it's the League Cup, or even if it's the Europa League, if you were to drop out the Champions League group stage? Like, would you take it just to get this trophy monkey off your back? Or do you want to keep finishing top four? I'm not saying Mourinho can't get them top four. He probably can. He's got a good squad that he's inheriting. And like I say, I'm sure he's going to get back to spend money, if not in January, at the end of the season. It's always very interesting when you see a club like Spurs who've just spent so much money on a new stadium. You usually expect in the post-new stadium era, like for example Arsenal had to, the spending to be limited a little bit, which kind of made sense as to why they weren't letting Pochettino splash the big bucks. But Mourinho, unless he just got impatient and wanted a new job and has been prepared to take a job where he's not going to be allowed to spend a lot of money, I just find it hard to believe that he's not been made certain promises. Traditionally, Mourinho is not someone that uses the youth system a lot, despite the fact that being something he actually said in his statement that he's looking forward to working with the first team and the promising youth academy. So it is going to be very interesting to see who Mourinho brings in and how much he uses the youth players. Mourinho is undeniably one of the best football managers of all time. The question for me is his time gone? Has his time passed? Has he still got it? Can he compete with the modern day best managers, the Peps and the Klopps? I don't think he's still got that same mojo he had a decade ago, personally. I think he's gone from being this charismatic, a bit cheeky, maybe arrogant manager, but always entertaining manager when it comes to press interviews and stuff, to being this grumpy guy. He certainly was towards the end of Manchester United anyway. I'm looking forward to seeing which version of Mourinho we see at Spurs. And if he does go back to his old, more lovable self, how long will that last? Spurs fans are going to have to put up with less attractive football, most definitely. That's not Mourinho's style. He makes you hard to beat, hard to break down. He likes big, strong players, and no doubt he'll fill the squad with that. But he does get results. Personality-wise, Mourinho and Pochettino couldn't be more different, really. The Spurs players are going to have to adjust to a very different changing room vibe now. I get the impression with Pochettino it was quite matey, there was a lot of mutual respect, whereas with Mourinho it's a little bit more tyrannical. Can the current Spurs crop of players perform under that kind of leadership? What does it mean for Harry Kane, a person that's been linked with a potential move away? We already know that Christian Eriksen wants out. Danny Rose is going to leave at the end of his contract. Will Harry Kane end up leaving, or will he want to play for Mourinho? Could Pochettino have plans to take Harry Kane with him wherever he goes next? People are wondering whether Mourinho is going to bring in Zlatan Ibrahimovic, who's out of contract now and available, and obviously has that relationship with him. He did well for him at Manchester United. There's no way you can cater to have Zlatan and Harry Kane though, surely. Ultimately, it remains to be seen whether the Mourinho for Pochettino swap was a good one or not. If Spurs continue to qualify for the Champions League and win a trophy, no matter what trophy it is, I'd argue it's been successful. But it depends what you want as a Spurs fan. Is it the more aesthetically pleasing football and the manager you can probably get behind more and have that kind of more love for than you will for Mourinho? Or is it the Mourinho brand coming in at Spurs and getting that title? One thing's for sure, if Mourinho comes in and doesn't win something, maybe not a Premier League, but even a cup or anything, if he doesn't win something, then it was a bad move, in my opinion. The pressure is on Mourinho to turn Spurs into a league or cup winning outfit. Something that no one's been able to do for a long time. But if you want short-term success for Spurs and you want to see the results improve, I probably think it was the right decision for Spurs to make a change, as painful as it seems when Pochettino is so well liked. So I kind of applaud Tottenham and Daniel Levy on their bravery and their commitment to success, and not just success, but chasing evolution and improvement beyond just staying where they are. But it is a risk that was made easier to take because Pochettino's form was getting worse and worse with Spurs, and they looked like they needed some points in the Premier League. First game up for Mourinho is, of course, West Ham. I swear, we always face clubs with new managers. We've got to have some sort of record for it. We're not in a good place ourselves. West Ham's manager could be out any second, Pellegrini. That's a whole different conversation to have in terms of who we go for if we do lose Pellegrini or if he turns things around. But for this IMO, Mourinho in, Pochettino out. My verdict: it's a good decision as long as Mourinho gets them something. He wins them something in the next few years. Because 3+ years, he's almost certainly going to be out of there. Let me know what you think. Vote on the poll. Is Mourinho coming in a good decision, or should Pochettino have stayed? Drop a like on the video if you've enjoyed it. Leave a comment below with your thoughts on the matter and any other IMOs you want to see. Let me know. Subscribe for more. I'll see you in another video soon. Until then, don't go changing.